Well, guys, here's the last part of our story. Chapter 10. The subject line said, "Good news and not so good news." Lizzie felt her heart thumping as she opened the email from from Helping Eyes. Right by the time she got home from school. Dear Lizzie, it said, the good news is you had convinced us that Shadow would make a good guide dog for a blind person. We'll need to examine his papers and do some testing. I'd like to gratefully accept your offer to take this dog into our training program. Lizzie could hardly believe her eyes. "Hey, Charles!" she called. "Come here, hurry!" Charles came to her room carrying Shadow. "What?" he asked. "What did he write back?" Lizzie read the first part of the email out loud. Reading it again made it seem even more real. When they were done, she and Charles whooped and yelled and gave each other high fives. Shadow didn't know why the children were so happy, but he was a happy little dog too. They stroked him and hugged him and told him what a good puppy he was. He already knew that he was. It was always nice to hear that. "So what's the not so good part?" Charles asked. He had seen the subject heading when he leaned over Lizzie's shoulder. Lizzie scrolled down there. "Not so good news is this. We at least declare one child in our puppy raiser family to be 14 years old. That means your family will not be able to raise Shadow. But we hope you'll be part of our program when you are older. Meanwhile, we do an experienced puppy raiser. Your family in our area, the Downeys, have agreed to take Shadow. They will contact you today." Lizzie and Charles looked at each other, then at Shadow, who was still curled up in Charles' arms. "Oh boy, I can't believe we have to give him up," whispered Lizzie. When they ran downstairs and told Mom all about it, she reminded him that maybe it was just as well since they were heading to South Carolina in 1 week. She also told Lizzie how proud she was. "Imagine, a blind person is going to get a fantastic dog, and it's all because of you. You had a great idea, and you followed through on it, all on your own," she said. "Well, Charles and Maria and Sammy, they all helped," Lizzie said modestly. She still wished they could keep Shadow, but Mom was right. It was so cool that he was going where he needed. Mom looked down at the bean, who was crawling through the living room floor, following Shadow. "I have a feeling this is going to be very hard on a certain someone," she said, nodding towards the bean. "He's going to lose a very special friend. Fortunately, he's young enough to know that he'll probably not be upset for too long. But I'm sure we'll keep him handled with Shadow for a year, then giving him up." Lizzie had to admit that Mom was right. "I'm not sure I could have handled it either." She said. The Downeys called that night. After supper, whisper Lizzie talked to for a long time with Peter, who was 16. He told her all about the two puppies his family had raised. Lizzie told him all about Shadow and his special dog. Peter liked hearing about how close Shadow and the bean had become. I bet Shadow will like my little sister too, he said. Amanda is crazy about puppies. Bees. Peter told Lizzie that his family had a big fenced-in yard. They liked to go for hikes and do other outdoor things. Lizzie had to admit that might really be the perfect family for Shadow. Afterwards, Peter's mom talked to Mrs. Peterson. They agreed that the Downies would come the next day, Saturday, to meet Shadow. Later that night, the Petersons spent a lot of time playing with Shadow and talking about how they'll miss him. I feel funny. Even we're giving Shadow to some people I don't know, said Lizzie. I mean, I know the Helping Eyes people trust the Downies, but we won't be sure till they're the right family once we meet them. If the Downies aren't the right family to raise him, Mom said, we'll just keep looking until we find the perfect family. Lizzie beamed at her mother. Mom shrugged. We only want the best look, that's for Shadow, right? Maria came over first thing next Sunday morning. Oh, I can't stand it, Lizzie says they watched Shadow chase a leaf backwards. He tumbled and rolled, making the girls laugh out loud. How can I say goodbye to him? But Lizzie, Maria said, just think if Simba never came to my mother. Simba's going to end up being a guide dog just like him. Someday he'll make a real difference in a blind person's life. Lizzie nodded. Maria was right. Lizzie was glad Maria was there. I know, she said, and I'm really happy about that. And Peterson will probably be able to be invited to attend Shadow and his blind humor graduate from the Helping Eyes program next year. She gave me a grateful glance. Lizzie was so happy that she had finally found a friend. Maria was still there when the Downies rode their minivan, complete with a crate and bag for Shadow. Lizzie, Maria, and Charles watched as the Downies came out and went down the walkway. Lizzie thought they looked like nice people. But were they right for Shadow? Hey, little dude, Peter said to Shadow when the puppy came running to meet the new people. Oh, he's such a cutie. Lizzie was glad Peter appreciated the puppy. She felt proud of Shadow. He's smart, too. I already taught him how to sit before I give him his dinner. At the word dinner, Shadow cocked his head and wrinkled his forehead in that very serious way. Was it time for food? Yay! Shadow was always ready for a meal. He sat down quickly, looking at the girl with bright, curious eyes. Peter laughed. I see. He smiled. You've done a great job with him. I can tell. You're already smart to figure out that he'll be a good guide dog. His parents and his little sister laughed too. Amanda had joined the bean on the floor for Mexico. Both of them were patting and hugging him. Shadow liked these new people, especially the little one. She smelled so nice and delicious. Yes. Yes. Lynn saw that Amanda was gentle with Shadow, just like the bean was. That was a good sign. We brought the bean a present, said Mrs. Downey. We thought it would help him not miss Shadow as much. She pulled a stuffed animal out of a shopping bag she had brought in. It was a big, soft, black lab puppy. Uppy! The bean said, reaching for it. Lizzie watched her little brother reach for the toy and hug it close. She had a feeling she might need to hug it herself over the next few days. But why? Because she knew for sure when the Downies left, they were going to take little Shadow with him. But it was so obvious they were a perfect family to raise him. Lizzie watched Shadow lick Amanda's cheek, and for a second she felt like crying. She had already fallen in love with Shadow, and it was going to be hard to give him up. But Shadow was going to spend a year with this great family. Then he was going to be learning how to be an actual guide dog. Giving him up was the right thing to do. Lizzie looked over at Mom and gave her a special smile and a little nod. They're the ones, Lizzie, she was saying without using any words. Mom nodded back. Then she smiled at the Downies. How would you nice folks like some lemonade? She asked. Great, said Mr. Downey. We brought some pictures of the other pups we raised, and they all headed for the kitchen with Shadow turning along after Amanda. Lizzie could tell the Downies were going to take great care of him. But it wasn't going to be easy giving Shadow up. But Lizzie knew it was the right thing to do, and she knew there would probably be another puppy coming along sometime soon. Another puppy who needed her family's help. Finding the right place for it to live. Lizzie couldn't wait to meet it. The end. Oh, wow. That was such a great story. I'm going to go grab our next story. And our next story is the Novelization of Allbird Company, coming January 20th, a.k.a. my little brother's birthday.